And hello, everybody. I'm very lucky today to have, sorry if I pronounce it wrong, Zen. You can correct me.
Zen is perfect. That's what people
Zen
call
is perfect. From Taurus Labs, and he's going to be helping us with their, I think, relatively new product called DirectAuth. Which I find very exciting. Yeah, go for it. Introduce yourself and DirectAuth and Taurus.
Thanks so much. And DirectAuth has been out for about 2 months now, and it's an evolution on what we previously had as an integration, which was the Taurus wallet, and it basically abstracts out all of the interactions an application would need to store, assign, retrieve keys on the Taurus network in a distributed fashion. So it handles like the authentication. It handles the authentication with like whichever provider you choose, be it Google, Facebook, or whatever. And at the same time, it also handles the handshake with each of the nodes and the hash commit reveal scheme, which it's all there and required transactions. So it basically reduces it into one API, which you can just hook into your application at any point in time. So yeah, I guess let's get started, Jason.
Perfect. So I'll share our screen. So one of the things that I'm excited about is then with DirectAuth, we have control over the UX and a lot of the flow. So we can really integrate that seamlessly. So what I have here is this example with the View app. So it's going to be very different. But the first thing I notice is we need this.
Yep.
So I'm going to quickly install that. Let's open. Yeah, let's do it up top here. DirectAuth UI. So yarn add SDK. That'll quickly load. Cool. And then I notice we've got this constructor over here. So I'm going to quickly, just for reference, copy this. And like I said, I think just for your comfort, I'm going to do all of this in JavaScript. DirectAuth.js. Let's quickly just comment this all out for reference.
Whilst we're following the example application, that's a great place to start as well. We can also take a look at the README of the Direct SDK. There are several steps we have to we have to proceed with first before we start actually calling the code itself. So if we just take a look at let's just take a look at that.
Perfect.
Over here, further down. So the first thing is installing a package naturally, and that one's already done. The next thing that we need to do is we probably need to host 2 files in the public folder of the example in our application itself, and that's the redirect.html and serviceworker.js. So let's go ahead and do that.
So I'll download these. Let's grab the raw. Okay, so it's I need to name them HTML. They're HTML files. Okay. Documents, code, spikes. Okay. Yeah, this should be perfect. Redirect.html. And if I save this one, serviceworker.js.
Fantastic. By any chance, are you using service workers at this point in your application already, or would this be your first service worker?
I actually deleted the service worker, but This is using create React app. So
so that one automatically comes with a service worker. But since you've deleted it,
yeah.
there should be no conflict. But just that's interesting. You're also using Arweave. But just for context of this conversation, as well as others potentially integrating, service
Arweave
workers
is an old thing. I'm not using this here. I can delete that.
No, not at all. Don't worry. As in, I just saw that and it was just interesting.
Yeah.
But as for service workers, if you guys have two service workers, server workers work by priority. So often, if you already have a service worker on your application, you probably don't want to replace that with the service worker we're providing. So what you can potentially do is provide our service worker and register our service worker on a URL that is a subpath. So something like in this case, I guess spikes.com/Taurus, and then serve it // service worker.js, and then register the service worker on that URL as well. And that would essentially allow you to use two service workers in one application. But since you have no service worker, let's just carry on.
Let's put this direct. So remind me, maybe I should put this actually in the source directory rather than the public directory.
No, the public directory actually works best because what we need is to we actually need to solve it on the server itself, and we don't need it to go through processing on compilation.
Oh, I see. So how do I do that? Maybe you can type that here, or
could I see a server file? Probably your index.js somewhere.
Here you go.
Index.js.
So this is all create React app. So there isn't a server file.
I see.
The
create React app, I think should. Let's just test it out. Let's just run the
Here we go. This is how they do it in create React app. Line 5 and this line.
I see. Okay. What we probably just
maybe we need to import it here as a script.
No, it's all right. Service workers can't be imported onto the HTMLs themselves, and they have to be loaded as a JS file themselves. That's also why your JavaScript fetches the service worker after it runs instead of before. But what we can do, I just want to see. I'm not exactly sure how Create React app runs its development server. But perhaps we can run the server and just see like what port it's running on, or for example, what files are being served. If we can just run it on localhost, we should be able to see if SW.js is served or not.
Sure. So here it is on localhost, and then we can let's just, for example, redirect.html. If I do this, it should show that page.
Yep, fantastic. It's showing that page. And let's try sw.js as well.
Okay.
Fantastic. Perfect. Both are being served. This is all we need. So we're done with steps 3 and 4.
Cool. So let's go back to the README over here. No, over here. 3 and 4 are done. 5. So I need to create a client ID, I guess.
Yes. So what we need to do here is probably create our own Google client ID. Oof, my chair nearly fell. But we need to create our own client ID. For now, we can use. Do we want to go through this process now? So technically, at this point,
we can use this one, right?
We can use one of these.
I guess.
Yes.
Okay. I think for our use case, what I'm most excited about are these two. So they're all
passwordless.
Passwordless, and these two.
I see.
So those are the ones I'm most excited about.
Fantastic.
But we can do the others too, for sure.
Yep. let's start with the Google one because it's typically the easiest one to do.
Okay.
So typically what a verifier is verifiers are scripts which are run on the Torus network themselves. And they are directly pegged to authentication providers, which could be Google, Facebook, Auth0, and the list goes on. Now, these authentication providers basically you need to set up these authentication providers and peg them to those verifier scripts to get them up and running. And these are default ones which work on localhost 3000. But for your once Wildcards starts using starts hosting your site on a dev or staging site or starts being pushed into production, we need to basically you guys would need to create your own client ID or your own Auth0 account in the case of passwordless to set up your own verifiers.
Okay, perfect. That makes a lot of sense. So let's maybe think of the flows very quickly. We're gonna need to create the where is it? The constructor. So this needs to be done first. So let's export const create Torus SDK, and then we can actually I like it to be a function, and then we can just return this. Obviously, in the future, I'm gonna have to. I'm just gonna hard code all of this for now. So that's
Yep. So for the base URL,
localhost.
we can probably put localhost 3000, and we don't need to use the /service worker in this particular case because we're not hosting it on that sub route.
Okay. Oh, I see.
Or let's actually perhaps let's host it on the sub route. So let's create a file in public called /service worker.
A file or a folder?
A folder.
Cool. And then put this inside.
Shift in redirect.html as well.
Okay.
Fantastic.
And let's undo that. And there we go.
Yep.
Cool. So anyone watching, for sure, in the future, would want to have some arguments and make it configurable, but we just want to get it to work. So that's great. Then this, should I run this init?
I think you can. Feel free to run it inside here.
Const Torus SDK, and then let's do return Torus SDK, and then let's copy this line up here. Okay, and this is asynchronous, so let's say async.
We're going to need to rename the variable.
Which variable?
Torus Direct SDK to Torus SDK.
Oh, yeah, of course. Thank you. Okay, this is looking good. Next step, we can actually just import this into app so we can use it. Okay, so yeah, maybe because I'm on a I'm on a live stream, I'm gonna do this. This is not good reason code, by the way, anyone watching. This is lazy person's reason code.
Which is very reasonable for a lazy person.
Exactly. So let's say get Torus. We'll just give it a type annotation. So it's a unit that's like no arguments. Goes to js.promise.type, and let's make our own new type for Torus. Type Torus. Yeah, that's fine. Okay, then inside here, we're going to have a function that runs require DirectAuth.js. Yeah, let's copy that. Okay. Something's not happy. Semicolon. Okay. Something else is unhappy. That's a very strange error. Just let me restart the server. Cool. Yeah, sometimes I have that for those wanting to know about reason. When you install new NPM packages, it sometimes messes up with the server. So sometimes you have to restart it. Okay, cool. Then over here, we can actually start using this. So we'll have react.use effect to be explicit, so there's no arguments for this. So we'll say Taurus instance set Taurus instance equals react.use state, and the default will be none. So at the beginning, this isn't defined, and then inside this function, this you have to return in case the component remounts. So in this case, we're not going to do anything if this component remounts. So we're going to say get Taurus js.promise.then, and that needs to be the second argument. So this is a placeholder for the second argument. And in the first argument, we're going to Taurus instance. We're going to set that. So it'll be set Taurus instance to some Taurus instance. Okay. And then while we're at that, let's do a switch here on the Taurus instance. Taurus instance. If it's none, we are going to show a loader. Loading, and if it is some, we are going to, we don't need to know what it is. We're going to say ready. And I guess for the sake of knowing it's really working, we're going to do a js.log. So this is just console.log. And we will take the Taurus instance. Okay, unclosed brackets somewhere. Typical. Oh, I see. Cool. This has type. Okay, and basically in Reason, everything's strongly typed. So this function, the first argument of this function has to return a promise. So all I have to do is js.promise.resolve. Okay, somewhere. And I ignore the output of this. There we go, compiling.
Fantastic.
Let's run that and see what it says. Loading. Okay. Progress, I guess. What is this asking about? So this is inside the code that we wrote. DirectAuth. Network error. I wonder. Let's just check. What was it? Service worker.sw.js. Okay, it is there. Yeah. Any ideas about this?
So we actually, inside the SDK, we make several calls out. I would love to see which call is the exact call that failed.
Is it network? Is this big enough? Let me make it a little bit bigger for you.
Yeah, no, it's fantastic. It's good enough.
Okay, just let me reload the page. So it's loading.
So the Robson calls are looking good. And then the Robson calls are looking not good. Wait, no, they're all 200.
Yeah, they're all 200. So it looks like it's failing on this line 10. Let me just do some console logs just so we're 100% sure. I don't know if you have any other suggestions.
No, this definitely works. We could also open it in the debugger if you'd like. Set a breakpoint.
Yeah.
And then...
Sure. Let's check. So yeah, it breaks at that next line. I'm not super familiar with the debugger, but let's give it a try.
So we can just set a breakpoint at console before, and we can start diving in.
There we go. So, boom.
There we go.
Oh, actually, I should do it on the next line. Yeah, it's fine. So we'll do, okay, not step in, step over. So that'll go to line 11. No. I think I might need to reload this. Let's put a breakpoint there. Yeah, sorry about that. Something's okay. So let's now go in.
Yep.
Step over, step in again. Okay.
Oh, the code is minified. That's not pleasant. Okay. Let's pretty print it. No, not at all.
How do you pretty print? Is there an easy way to do that?
There should be something. Okay, perhaps there isn't. I'm not too familiar with the Firefox debugger.
I can totally open this in Chrome if that's easier, because I'm not so familiar with the debugger either.
Sure. Let's hop into Chrome then, because I know we can pretty print very easily there.
Okay, inspect elements, sources, it'll be here, UI, inside UI, source, DirectAuth, put the breakpoint here, reload the page, and wait, that is a breakpoint.
There's a small issue with the, let's see.
It's not even hitting the breakpoint. Let's put the breakpoint here. Am I missing something? Console. Come on. Let's see if that works. No, it doesn't seem to get my changes.
Okay, I think the issue might be that we're missing a slash at the end of our base URL. So we're actually calling localhost --3000 /service worker and then it's sw.js right after that. Let's include a slash in the base URL and everything should work.
Okay. Oh, the breakpoint's working now. I don't know what changed, but let's see. It's still saying failed to fetch.
Oh, but we've got a different error now, right? Failed to fetch.
I'm going to quickly check in Firefox and see if there's any difference here. Maybe it's just printing it differently on Firefox.
Ah. Oh, we broke point, so we need to continue running to get the error.
I thought I uncommented it, but yeah, you're right. Network.
The same. Ah, we're missing. Wait, what are we missing? No, we're not missing that. We are missing. We're missing HTTP in front. HTTP://.
Okay. Why is it, I wanted to stop using this breakpoint. Okay, perfect. Thank you.
Not at all.
So now, like I say, we've got this auth object. I think let's make it easier for ourselves and make a new React component. So I'll quickly, we'll call it auth page and, sorry, without the arrow. Over here, we'll say React component, and we'll say let make equal. And over here, we're going to pass in as a parameter Taurus obj. Cool. The Taurus object, and we will say login with DirectAuth. Something I'm a little bit curious about. I see the sort of mixing of Taurus and DirectAuth. In your mind, they like extremely similar, or do you think the branding will split?
The DirectAuth is a form of integration on to the Taurus network, and we have two types of integrations. The first one is the Taurus wallet, and the second one is DirectAuth. So that's the reason for the main distinction here.
Cool. And so what we're going to do is take the Taurus object and we're going to pass that into the new React component that we created. Auth page, and that's going to take in the Taurus object. Let's rename it. Then saying there's a syntax error, which is strange. Okay, line 32. Yeah, okay, of course. No. Okay, there you go. I was missing the closing tag.
Fantastic.
Cool. So let's keep going. So I'm going to go back to that example application, or should I rather go to the README? Okay, so we've done this. We've done this. Next, we need to do the trigger login. So let's do that on a button click. And that's, okay, this returns a promise. Okay, we can probably do this asynchronously. And once again, I'm going to be using hacky JavaScript. Forgive me, all of the people who love Reason and find this code terrible. Okay, so over here, let's put this in a div. And we're going to put a button on click. And we'll say login, default login. So yeah, or let's say, yeah, let's be specific, Google login. React.string button. Okay, and on click needs to be defined. Let on click. And because we're going to be calling a raw JavaScript function, we need to give it type, so it takes no argument. And oh, actually, okay, Taurus login. Let's rather do it like that. So we ignore the argument. It's like this argument is the like on click handler and all of that JavaScript stuff that we don't need. And we'll run Taurus login directly units, and this equals raw JavaScript. And the raw JavaScript will be, actually, I'll change that. We're going to take in Taurus SDK. And over here, we'll say Taurus obj goes to, let's copy this. Okay, and I'm not going to do this asynchronously. It'll, I guess, happen in the background. We can fix that in a bit. Okay, and this we must grab from the example code. So we've got Google.
So I guess think what we need is
this it?
Let me just see. Yeah, I think this is it. This is it.
Type of origin, client ID, verifier.
There's no need for name. I'm not sure if I'm not sure if there's a need for name.
Okay. We'll just leave it. It's from the example, so I guess it doesn't hurt anyone.
Okay. I guess
And
not.
that should be fine. And then over here, we need to put in Taurus. Okay, I've got some bracket closing issues. Typical. Taurus is not defined. Of course. Okay, I think we're good to go. I'm going to delete that, clean this up. And okay. Guys, this is magic.
Sweet.
I'll use my
There we go.
Wildcards email. And I guess I'm logged in.
Yeah, I mean, this is it.
Okay, so
We might want to log what we get back from the trigger login, because that would be where you get back your key pair as well as further details.
Okay, no, that makes sense. So let's, okay, yeah, for now, let's just log it. So then login results. And do I have to log out first? I guess it saves.
No, it's not saved in memory or anything. So.
Okay, cool. So by default, it's not saved in memory. And now let's check here. And
there we go.
Cool. That's a bit scary to be seeing in your console.
Yeah.
Please don't hack me, everyone.
But this is on the testnet, so yeah, it's no biggie.
Yeah, for sure. There's two. Wait, there's okay. This is your code that's logging this. I think this is what we have. I'm just gonna copy this. Select. No, that's not what I want. I think copy object, and then I'm just gonna make a type because that'll make it easier for us in the future. No. Is there a way to copy copy object? Okay, that's perfect. And then it's a string. Okay. Whoops. And sorry, I'm trying to be clever with this.
Not at all.
There we go. String. And then this is also a string. String. And then this I have to copy and make a new type. So it'll be type Taurus user info. Perfect. And then type Taurus login object. and it's Taurus user info. Okay, seems good to me. Just gonna comment this out. So that compiles. So meant to be a lowercase s? Yes. Okay. Cool. And now what we can say is that this returns a js.promise.t of Taurus login object. Okay, and then over here, okay, we're just gonna have to remove that. Return. Let's think what we're gonna do. Let's have it so it shows your private key. So let yeah. Your ETH address, set your ETH address, and then let's do react.use state. And by default, it won't be defined, so it's none. And then let's actually move this here. Cool. And okay, something's unhappy. Line 28. Of course. Okay. It's looking good. So what we want to do here is js.promise. Then once again, it's the second argument. And over here, we'll say login object goes to set your ETH address, login object dot, what is it? Public. Okay, something wanted. Okay, it needs to be an option. And same as usual. And then over here, we ignore the result of that promise. Cool. And then before we continue, we'll do a switch here. Your ETH address. If it's none, we're gonna show this thing. Let's put it in a fragment. And if it's some ETH address. Okay, I don't know why the auto formatting's not working. I'm gonna try reload the language server. Ah, there you go. It's auto formatting now. Cool. It looks nice and neat. I think this will work. So Google login, and I click login. How are we doing for time? Okay, we've done about 45 minutes. I normally don't want my streams to be longer than an hour. So
Makes sense.
we're making really good progress. I think we can start wrapping it up. I've got a few questions that I have for next steps. Okay, yeah, guys, it's working. I've got a few questions for next steps, and maybe you've got some suggestions or advice.
For sure.
And then I'll continue working through this, and then I'll put all of this on GitHub so anyone can see and use it as a reference. A few things I'm going to do before I put it on GitHub. I'm not going to have any raw JavaScript. It's kind of bad practice. And then all of this is going to be parameters that you pass in. And what else am I going to do? The next step that I wanted to tackle is, so our backend, it's a very sort of traditional backend with a database, nothing Ethereum or Web3 related. But Hasura, it's a really great service for creating GraphQL backends. They've got this authentication using webhooks. So they've got authentication using JWT. And I'm not sure which is better. For me, I think, Wildcards already has users. We just want to make a very smooth, let's show the options we have. So these are the current options we have, including Taurus, but we obviously want to integrate Taurus, so maybe we won't even display it as an option. And if you
so this is the Taurus wallet integration, and now we're doing the DirectAuth one. So so if someone wants to bring their own Taurus wallet, then they can use that. But what I'm thinking for the website, for some context, is you see we've got default mode and expert mode. I think in default mode, it'll only have Taurus, not Taurus, DirectAuth as an option. So currently the website is really confusing. If someone doesn't know what Ethereum is, and they come to the website, there's different options and MetaMask. So we want it so that the website changes. So at the moment, it's just changing this text, but we want everything to change so that it's very easy for someone to get started. So the reason I want to use webhooks, so maybe you have an opinion, is we can create our custom server over here, and this server can verify a signed Ethereum message. So when they log in, maybe this is fine, but if they want to edit their profile or if they want to post a picture or whatever, got it.
Then they'll have to sign a message. Yeah,
it's a box that runs the verification to let the API through to your database, basically, to either get or set. Got it. Oh yeah, I think that would work pretty easily.
And it doesn't break our current login. So if we have a user today who's using MetaMask, they can also log in with MetaMask by signing a message. So that's what I like. We're not so coupled with any Ethereum provider. So
Yep, 100%. Okay, that sounds it sounds very feasible to do via the webhook. I'd see no problems. I don't see any problems with the next steps at all.
A few more questions. So when we've got DirectAuth, it's probably somewhere in the README and I haven't gone through, but when someone like tries to submit a transaction with DirectAuth, it's completely up to us to ask them for verification and things like that. Whereas with Taurus, it's got that. Let's log in with Taurus. Oh, whoops. That's actually bad. It should ignore. Yeah, I was clicking on the bird behind. Sign in with Google. And also, this Ethereum address now is different to this one. So when I use DirectAuth, I don't know what. Okay. Not sure what happened there.
Sometimes Google just does that for some reason.
Okay.
There we go.
Okay, I'm going to use my personal account.
Log off the Chrome.
Okay, so normally when you use Taurus, it's got this this button at the bottom. And when I do a transaction, let's say I buy a wildcard, okay, I don't have any Ether in this account, but it would ask me permission to do that. When I'm using DirectAuth, do I have, does Wildcards code control that?
Yes.
Like all of that? Okay.
Yep. So that's controlled completely 100% by Wildcards code in DirectAuth. And DirectAuth essentially allows you to leverage that to implement what UI you want and the permissions which you feel that your application requires.
And another quick question. So this has the private key. If I want to use Web3 or if I want to use Ethers.js or some library like that, do I have to import this private key manually, or what's the approach to use?
So you probably just import it manually into Web3 itself. There's a way to wrap it into it, and I can't remember the exact API. I think
there's a provider.
Yeah. So you just stuff into the provider, and you're more or less good to go.
Yeah. Whoops. Yeah, this one. I guess this will work. Okay, and then another question regarding the sort of DirectAuth. For these custom verifiers, where was it? There's a way to do an aggregation. What I think would be quite nice is if let's say they're allowed to use their Google email, or they're allowed to use
Auth0 to the same
password. Yeah, to the same address, as long as the email is the same. I was trying to understand if that's possible.
That is possible. Yep, it's possible and relatively pretty easy to do.
Okay, cool. I won't go into that in the stream now. Then the other question is with custom JWT logins, what's the process for that? So there's a product that I'm quite interested in. I don't think I'll actually use it, but it's very nice, and this uses JWT logins, and it's built on this project called OneGraph, which is quite amazing. They basically a GraphQL API for a lot of different services on the internet. So yeah, you can have Stripe and GitHub and Google and Facebook all in one like GraphQL endpoint. So it's really quite nice when a user logs in, let's say with GitHub, you can then use their login to fetch the description from GitHub, their profile photo from GitHub, etc.
So this is a little bit interesting because separately from similar, this follows the same line of reasoning as, for example, Hasura, right? So OneGraph is basically a database API. Correct me if I'm wrong. A database API that allows you to access it, and this authentication is for authentication to a database that you've set up via a JWT token that is signed. Now, with Taurus, we do we authenticate a user via JWT. The custom JWT is that we authenticate a user via that JWT. So, for example, Auth0 or let's say Google logins give you back a JWT token, and we authenticate that JWT token on the Taurus network itself. And what we give back is not a JWT token, but like the key shares themselves. So, so to leverage OneGraph, we might either have to use that same JWT that is relayed to the Taurus network and relay that to OneGraph as well for authentication, or we might, I guess, the alternative is just like what we're doing for Hasura. Instead of trying to use a JWT, use instead a user account signature, a signature on some sort of message to access OneGraph.
Okay, yeah, that's really interesting. So I can quickly show you. Yeah, I hope I find it easily.
Well, we have so many cool people commenting. Look at that.
Oh, I've been very bad at let's show some of these. Yay. I think these came up when we were busy debugging. That looks very trippy. I need to set up my streaming setup so I don't have to show the screen and I have separate screens and stuff. Anyway, I'm getting started with this. Cool. Thanks everyone for watching. Just so we can finish on a good note. Okay. I'm not finding it. Let's go Hasura auth Guardian. But yeah, basically all that we I actually have some code I can show you. Where will it be? This is not in production, guys, so there's no secret passwords you can grab. But yeah, this is actually what Hasura uses to verify the JWT. Would it be possible to give this to DirectAuth somehow and register this thing?
Yes, it's actually possible. Yep. And then Hasura JWTs would be able to get back public-private key pairs on the Taurus network. Yep, it's possible.
Okay, very cool. I have to think more about this. Maybe it's too complicated. Maybe we don't want to do it. Maybe we do want to do it. But yeah, I really like this project Auth Guardian. So thanks everyone for joining. I hope you learned a lot.
It's been a pleasure, Jason. Thanks so much for having us.
Yeah, I also learned a ton. So thank you, Zen, and see you guys next time.
Cheers, guys. Bye.